Okay, so good evening, everyone. My name is Dream, and this is my first year with Mogul, and I'm presenting the buy and hold deal analysis. So, buy and hold, why? Why invest in the buy and hold strategy? Well, there's many different reasons, but for the most part, as James mentioned, that most people want to have the ability to choose to work later in their years rather than having to work, and that's exactly how this strategy, what this strategy provides. So when we do that, we have to when we do that, we have to buy a positive cash flowing property in an economically sound area. So let me do a quick screen share to the key drivers. So when we look at this, we look at the key drivers. What makes a market with a strong economic fundamental is when we see strong employment growth, more jobs coming, more products coming out into our market, and then we see an increase in population. Then we see an increase in rental demand and decreased vacancy, increased rents. And this is what we look for when we're determining the economic fundamentals. So now we're in the city. So we're gonna look at Edmonton, and we're in the city. Let me screen share to Rome. So now we're in the city with a strong economic fundamental. Edmonton, so why Edmonton, right? We have great healthcare. We got the third largest university in the country, land size wise. We got oil workers. We're the capital city of the province, and we have government jobs. We have over 1,000 tech startups with less than 10 employees, and there's even a lithium reservoir found in Leduc. And basically, a mine is going to be constructed. And with all these jobs coming and going back to the key drivers, with this type of economic fundamental, Edmonton is looking pretty good. So we found the city. Now let's pick an area. Different areas offers your tenant different conveniences, and is also a large part of what determines your tenant profile. As an investor myself, we certainly do look at areas that are close to the LRT, and there are many areas that are close to the LRTs and future expansions of the LRT. There's so many areas, but for the sake of time, let's look at Millwoods. Also, this map is a great free resource for anyone and that anyone can get access to. Someone can post this website in the chat for you guys. You guys can just paste it and then go look for this map. So everyone is going to tell you different reasons as to why they invest in a particular neighborhood. For me, I like Millwoods because I live here and I went to school here. Everything is close and it's much easier to manage your properties if they're all in the same area. We also have a slightly below average tenant profile as compared to the overall tenant profiles in Edmonton. So we are compared to Glenora or Windermere. Like we compare all entirely of Edmonton. We also have the LRT stations. The Anthony Henday is a quick trip to other areas too, like Leduc. For you as an investor, you will do all the homework in your area to the point that you know the rents. And once you get the rents, you just take the gross annual rent divided by the purchase price, multiplied by 100. And if it is above 7 or even 7.5, you can just bring it to this analyzing form that I'm going to be showing you shortly. If not, you can move on. For your rents, though, there is a great free resource called Rent Faster. It basically makes everything so much easy, and it's pretty strong in Edmonton. Then, after we focus on a particular area, we will determine what type of property you will become an expert on. So are you a condo townhouse person? So with that comes with no exterior maintenance, no shoveling, no grass mowing, or are you more of like an up-down suite, which are stronger cash flow? They do have high turnovers though. So with that said, we can just come to here. This is the resource that us as realtors, which is what we look for. So this is how we typically look for each property. The property in particular that I found that we're going to be analyzing is this property in Millwoods. Is in a neighborhood called Greenview in the district of Millwoods. So I'm just going to pop everything down to here, that's pretty close to it. with buy and hold, we're typically looking at detached single family. We can also look at duplexes, but for the sake of this deal, we will be looking specifically at these types. Next, we want to add a suite. And typically when we put this secondary suite in, it means that the suites are legalized, are permitted. So you can see all of these here. The average is 383. And our particular property that we're going to be looking for is this property, which is this one at 399. So I'll take you to our spreadsheet. So these are the numbers of the spreadsheet, okay? So the purchase price, we're looking at what, $399 with your total investment. Okay, so your down payment is going to be $79,000. And okay, purchase price is $399. You're looking at a total of $86,000 to get into this property alone. And you need to know your mortgage payments. So going rates today is a 30-year amortization, just typically with a 5-year term and a variable rate. And if you choose, you can also go fixed variable, depends on your risk tolerance. And also, please talk to a mortgage specialist and your broker, and about this aspect, and you can get their advice and then pop it down onto this analyzer sheet. Revenue and rent, as you can see, you can get an up down with a fully legal suited here. So we've added the garage to it. You can see the monthly cash flow and annual profit, and we've got a pretty healthy rent on this property per month with the garage. So what happens if, you know, for example, if you're on variable and the Bank of Canada decides to drop the interest rate to a prime rate of 1.4% at the same purchase price? And this is what your total profit is looking like, up from 6,100 to 8,300. But let's go back to 2.5, and I'll show you the rest of how you can analyze this deal. So when you're looking at this property, please do your own homework to make sure you can get the $1,600 rent. Maybe when you do your homework enough and the property is sweet and clean and new enough, you can get about $1,700 a month. And that's where, when it comes down to you analyzing your properties with this analyzing form, maybe you can even configure a $1,700 and a $1,200 and eliminate the garage, or maybe add it more. So your expenses, so every property's got insurance, management fees. We highly advise you don't manage these properties, because I mean, your long-term plan is to buy multiple properties, and managing them actually prevents you from doing that. And that's why the management fees are there, 10% typically. What it can look like is, if you are going to manage the property yourself, you can take that out and come back. Wait. Okay, yeah. And come back, and this is your profit. You don't have that expense, right? And then if I come back here again to your property management, put it 10%, that's a difference of $3,000. So if you are handy and you know exactly what you're doing, manage it yourself. If not, then, you know, like, why spend time doing something you're not good at when you can just hire it out? So okay, and utilities, you can take care of them yourself with an up-down suite, or you can pass it on to your tenants on a shared agreement between upstairs and downstairs. Vacancy rate, absolutely. You will have tenants move out. They're going to move out eventually. And so put the contingency in there so you don't have to worry about it. And when you add these 5% vacancy, and you know, you add the 5% repairs, you don't have to take anybody in. You, like, any surprises come up, you don't really have to worry about it. And then, like, with that vacancy rate, like, you might expect, you know, your property is looking good, but what if your tenants move out? Then what, right? And then that's the difference between a sophisticated investor and people who don't even know the difference or know anything about it. They take And these people take anybody because September 1st is coming around and, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to pay, right? When you can add this vacancy and repairs and build your reserve. You don't have to worry, and you can even wait till October 1st. Not advisable, but you can. With regards to cash flow, you're basically taking home what, $227 per month, and your reserve is built in already. That's a healthy cash flow on the property. The main thing is you're taking home money, it's not costing you money, and you have reserve built in already. So ROI summary, that's the return on investment summary. And what this basically means is that with the assumption that the market will grow by 2% and a 2% increase in rental inflation, in 5 years, your equity is projected to be 79,745.02. Government of Alberta will always keep it at 2%. If it goes above, then that's when the banks will change their interest rates. Now, if you borrow the down payment, So on investment, in 5 years, your equity is projected to be $79,000 about. That is a 122% cumulative return on investment if your down payment is cash. Now, if you borrow the down payment, in other words, equity from another property in the form of line of credit, and use it for your down payment, your return on investment is actually infinite because you didn't put any money of your own money in. You borrowed money to invest in this property. So if you put 1% of your own cash, then the ROI will be calculated on that dollar. That $79,000 looks nice on paper, and it's actually a pretty healthy number there for 5 years. And lucky for us, we can say this right now because of the market we're in right now. It will do nothing but go up. But if we were in 2019, that's actually going to go down because it'll be negative, but it's 2021 today. So your return on investment in those 5 years is actually 122%. So, like, ask your stockbroker if you're getting that, or go to your bank and ask them to give you a 122% return on your money. The answer is absolutely not. And that's the power of real estate, the buy and hold as well. And on average, in those 5 years, you're getting 24%. Your RSPs in your bank might be getting 1, maybe. The cash on cash yield. So remember how I said near the beginning, if your deal is not calculating to at least a 7 or even better 7.5%, then don't even look at it. But lucky for us, this one comes to around a 7.77% yield. And as a reminder in how to calculate that is that you just take the gross annual rent divided by the purchase price and then multiply that by 100. That's how you know if this property is worth investing in.